Let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually felt okay? Not happy, not on the top of the world, just okay, at peace, not thinking about tomorrow, not replaying the previous day, just here. For most people, that moment is so rare they can barely remember it. Because somewhere along the way, stress became normal. Worry became the background music of your life. You wake up and it's already there, and the worst part, nobody taught you how to turn it off. All they did was to tell you to work harder, sleep better, meditate, journal, breathe through your nose. Like the problem is that you haven't found the right technique yet. But maybe the problem isn't about the technique. Maybe the problem is what you actually believe about your life and why you think stress is doing you any good. Here's something most people never question. The idea that stressing about something means you care about it. Think about that. We walk around believing that if we stop worrying about our future, it means we have given up on it. That if we're not anxious about money, we're being irresponsible. That if we are not stressed about relationships, we don't value them. It's like we made a deal with ourselves. Stress in exchange for being a serious person. I used to do this constantly. I'd lie in my bed at night, running through every possible way things could go wrong. Job stuff, people I've disappointed, decisions I didn't know how to make, and somewhere in my head I thought this was productive, like I was solving things by worrying about them. I wasn't solving anything, I was just exhausting myself. Because here's the truth nobody really says out loud. Stress doesn't protect you. It doesn't prevent the bad thing from happening. It doesn't make you more prepared. Most of the time, it just makes you tired before the problem even arrives. So when it does, you got nothing left. Worry is not planning. Stress is not care. Now I want you to think about what you're actually stressed about right now. Not in general, but today, the specific thing sitting in the back of your head. Is it money, a relationship, a business, something you said? Pick one and hold it. And now ask yourself this. What is the actual worst case scenario if that thing doesn't work out? Not the dramatic movie version, the real one. Because most of the time, the honest answer is I'll figure it out. It will be painful, maybe embarrassing or expensive, but you will wake up the next day. You have survived hard things before. You'll survive this one too. The gap between what we fear and what actually happens is huge. And we know this. We've lived it. We had hundreds of moments of, oh, this is going to ruin everything. And it didn't ruin anything. And yet we keep treating the next one like it's the one that finally will. That's not wisdom, that's a habit. And the scary thing about habits is that they feel like reality. They feel like truth, but stress is a habit. Treating your life like a problem to be solved instead of something to actually be lived, that's a habit. And habits can change. I want to talk about what stress actually costs you. Not in some abstract long-term health way, but in this moment. Every hour you spend anxious about something you can't control is an hour you're not actually in your life. You're somewhere else. You're in a future that hasn't happened. You're not here having dinner with someone you love. You're not here enjoying small things that are actually good. You're somewhere dark in your head fighting a battle that isn't even real yet. And days turn into weeks, weeks into months, and suddenly you look back and realize you spent whole years of your life worried about things that either never happened or that you had no control over anyway. That's not living, that's waiting for life to be safe enough to start. There's a version of you, maybe a version you remember from childhood, or maybe just one you can imagine, who moved through the world lighter, not naive, not ignorant of problems, but lighter. Someone who dealt with things when they actually happened instead of before they did. That version of you is still in there. Stress buried it, but it's there. So I'm not going to tell you to meditate for 20 minutes every morning, because you've heard that and it didn't stick at all. I'm going to tell you something easier. The most powerful thing you can do when you feel stress is taking over is to ask yourself, is this real or is this just a story? Because most of what we stress is a story. It's a version of events we've written in our head, usually the worst possible version, with us losing and everyone judging and nothing working out. That story feels real, it feels urgent, but it's just fiction. Real problems have actual next steps. Real problems can be written down. Stories don't. Stories expand to fill the whole room. So when the anxiety hits, write it down. Put it on a paper. Force it to be specific. Something like this. I'm worried that I won't be able to pay rent next month. Okay, that's real. What's one thing you can do about that today? Not 10 things. One, because you can only do one thing today. Most of the stress collapses when you make it specific, because specific things have solutions. The other thing, and this is the only one people skip because it sounds too easy, is to just accept that you can control most of it. Not as a defeat, as a relief. You cannot control whether the person you love stays. You cannot control what other people think of you, how long things take, or whether life is fair. Accepting that doesn't make you weak, it makes you honest. And honesty is the only place real peace actually starts. Here's the thing I keep coming back to. Nobody on their deathbed wishes they'd worried more. Nobody looks back and thinks, thank God I spent those years stressed. It really paid off. That never happens. But people look back and wish they'd been present. Wish they'd laughed more, held on less, let go sooner. The life you have right now, messy, imperfect, uncertain, that's the one. There is no better version waiting on the other side of all your problems being solved. Because when these problems are gone, there will be new ones. That's just how life actually works. The goal isn't a life without problems. The goal is to stop letting problems steal the life you already have. You're allowed to be okay even when things aren't perfect. You're allowed to be at peace even when the future is unclear. You're allowed to stop carrying things that aren't yours to carry. Not because life is going great, but because you decided that stress isn't the price you have to pay for being alive. So if you're watching this and you're tired, not sleepy tired, but soul tired, I just want you to hear this carefully. You don't need to have it all figured out. You don't have to fix everything this week. You don't have to earn your right to feel okay. You can just breathe and take the next step, just the next one. That's it. That's the whole thing.